Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is my channel where I love to talk about all things nail polish, especially toppers, as I've been doing lately. So I started a series where I've been showcasing some of my favorite different types of toppers. I started with glitter toppers, then just wrapped up shimmer toppers, and now we're going on into flake toppers. By the way, I put a link in the description to the playlist that has all of those videos in case you want to go back and watch them, or in case you haven't checked them out yet. And so just like I did when I was starting with my favorite shimmer toppers, I thought, okay, I have a lot of them and it's far too many for me to try to include in a single video. So how do I want to best structure this? And the way that I've decided to do it is to break this all down into 3 separate videos. The first one, that's this one, is going to be about my favorite iridescent flake toppers. Then I'm gonna have a video that's about my favorite flake toppers that are all one color. So like a flake topper that's just black, a flake topper that is just gold or red or so on. And then the third video is going to be my favorite flake toppers that have multiple colors in them. So like if you've ever seen a flake topper that has like, you know, this like multiple colors in there, like cracked polishes, pile of leaves, or KB shimmers, yes weekend, those kinds of flake toppers, those will all be in that video. So today we are talking about iridescent flake toppers, and I know for many people in the nail polish community, iridescent flake toppers are often an introductory product into the world of toppers because of this type of topper's color shiftiness. But then I've also seen a lot of comments in various forums from people who say that they never really use their iridescent flake toppers because they don't really know what to do with them beyond wearing them over black, and they don't always want to wear black nail polish, so therefore they very rarely reach for the iridescent flake toppers that they have. But y'all know me and how I love putting toppers on anything. And so today, what I want to do is show you my favorite iridescent flake toppers, as always, over white and black to start. And then I'm going to give a few color suggestions for what you can do to use these toppers beyond black, because I think that, you know, especially if you have these kinds of toppers in your collection and you're not really sure what to do with them, I think it's, you know, it can be a fun creative process to try them out in other ways and see what works, see what doesn't, and add those ideas to your like inventory of combinations that you know will work for you. So feel free to grab a swatch wheel, some swatch sticks, follow along, and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I've got the first one ready to go with our white and black. Just in case anyone's curious, the white that I use is cracked crinkled linens, and the black is Holo Taco's One Coat Black. And I also have put top coat over my white and black swatches so far, just so that they won't cause any smearing when I put the toppers on top of them. Okay, so the first one that I've got is from Cirque Colors. This one is called Fantasia, and it is just chock full of flakes and color. And you know, now that we're talking about flakes, that is one of the things that I think is important to cover on this topic of flake density, because I feel that depending on the kind of look that you're going for with your manicure, there may be times where you want to use something that has a higher density like this with a lot more packed into it, and times where you might want to use something that is a little bit more sparse. So that is a factor I encourage you all to consider when you are choosing between your flake toppers. So let me go ahead and swatch this one over white and black. And I will say that this is a flake topper that I was very surprised when I got it and saw just how well it showed up over a lighter color. You'll see what I mean as we go throughout the rest of this video, because often iridescent flake toppers just don't really make much of an impression over like lighter colors like white. But you can see here there is, like, we do get that color shiftiness there. Not only that, but we can also see that these are flakes. I know this is going to sound like really obvious right now, like, okay, Olivia, of course we can tell that they're flakes, but you'll see as we go along, not every iridescent flake topper is going to give you the same kind of impact with that over white. Now, over black, oh my goodness, this is like a colorful rainbow stained glass window here that is just really chock full of color. I just love it over black. It's a very great combination to use for times when I'm just like, I don't know what polish I want to wear, but I want to look cute and colorful, so I can just easily put Fantasia over black or any other dark color. Now, like I said, this one does work well over lighter colors too. And because of that, I thought this would be a great time for me to show you this one over a couple of lighter jelly polishes. And to not just do that, but to take it a step further and do what's called a jelly sandwich, where you start with 1 or 2 coats of the jelly polish, put your like flake in the middle, and then seal it up with another coat of the jelly. So let me show you what I mean by that. The first one is, actually all of these are from Cirque. This is called Voile. Y'all, I swear every time I use this polish, I pronounce it differently. I think that's how it is. But it's like a nice neutral kind of jelly polish that I've put here in 2 coats. So here's how Fantasia looks over Voile. That's what I'm gonna call it. Now, what you could do is stop right here and just have this be it, right? Like, this is, you think of this as being like a neutral color that, you know, if you're going for like a barely there look on with your manicure, you could do that, put Fantasia over it, have that amount of sparkle, and be good. But I'm going to show you a step further after this. But let's go on to our second jelly, which also from Cirque is Lolly Jelly. This is such a cute, like, pink corally fruit punch kind of color, and I think it's light enough to where it also works quite well with Fantasia. So if I put this on here, you'll see that it, you know, it doesn't like fade into the background quite as much as it does when it's over Voile, but it still is light enough to where you're like, okay, this combination can work. Now, let me show you what I mean by a jelly sandwich. And typically I would wait at least a few more minutes before I put something else on here, but Fantasia, I feel, because of how like dense it is with its flakes, it does dry pretty quickly in my experience. So what I'm gonna do is go back in with an additional coat of Voile. And this, for, you know, Fantasia, personally is the way that I prefer to wear it, because I feel like this is not a bad look like this, but you know, for times when you want there to be some kind of like color shiftiness, but you don't necessarily want all of this visual texture to be front and center as well, this is where taking the jelly sandwich approach can be quite helpful. So here's what happens when you do that. Now, a point or a tip about applying that additional coat of the jelly polish. This is where I would say less is more, because knowing that jelly polishes are designed in a way to be buildable, if it's the case that you go back to your bottle to get some more of the polish and then bring it back over here, that could really build up the opacity here beyond a point where you might have wanted it to be. So whenever I'm doing a jelly sandwich, what I personally prefer to do is make sure that I'm loading up my brush with just enough polish for one coat of like me not going back to that bottle at all, and ensuring that I'm spreading the polish around in a way that gets me even coverage, but without like being overly brush stroking, if that makes sense. And so here's what we've got. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, it is just very like, you still get that stained glass vibe, but it's now in a way where the color shifting is a little bit more muted. So maybe if you are trying to put together a manicure for, say, a more professional setting, but you still want a little pop of color that's under the radar, this could be an excellent combination to do that with. Now let's go back to our lolly jelly and put on the second coat of that. Well, or I've already started with 2 coats of it on the bottom, but this is going to be the final coat of this. So keeping in mind what I mentioned about the application tip. So what I'm going to do is load up this brush in a way that's going to give me enough to fully cover this nail and use what I've got here. So just being extra cautious here, spreading it evenly, watching out for my brush strokes, and I think that's pretty good. So a similar kind of thing here, where you get the benefit of still being able to experience these iridescent flakes, but in a way that puts them a little bit more in the background. And in this case, because we're using like this pink lolly jelly over this, it kind of like tints them in a way. So what you're getting here is like, you are, instead of just having a plain jelly by itself, it's like a jelly that looks like it has texture, but you don't actually have the texture on top of the nail. So jelly sandwiches are an excellent way to go when you're working with your flake toppers. Now, one last thing that I want to mention before I go on is that for pretty much all the flake toppers that I use, my personal preference is to cover them with some type of like a glitter grabber or a glitter smoothing top coat, like Glistening Glow's glitter grabber, before I then put on my actual top coat, because what that will do is give you a nice smooth and clear layer of polish over top of your flakes before you then go in with your top coat to seal everything in. You absolutely could go over this with just your top coat, but I personally prefer to do the glitter smoother first. It just helps to smooth things out. And if you've never used one of these before, my recommendation is to put this on, and so I'll actually show you the difference that this can make real quick. So here's how it looks right now, and then if I go on with this, and this is where, you know, because this is like relatively clear and it's basically just clear nail polish suspension base, you don't have to worry about like brush strokes here. It's more so just ensuring that you've got smooth coverage over the entire nail. And yeah, so what that's gonna do is smooth that out. So if you see from the angle now, it's got a much smoother finish to it than it did before. Now, when it comes to doing a jelly sandwich though, this is where I don't think that you need to put on a glitter smoother after you've put on the additional jelly coat, because that jelly coat that you put on top there is basically acting as your glitter grabber, and you don't really need to do a glitter smoother on top of that. Okay, so just wanted to show you all that. What I'm gonna do now is add some top coat onto these after this one dries, of course. We're gonna take a look at these in some different lighting, and then we'll go on to our next iridescent flake topper. The next topper that I want to show y'all is from Perky Polish called Fortitude. Perky Polish is a relatively newer indie brand that I hadn't heard anything about until I came across a video a couple months ago on YouTube where someone was doing a swatch and review of some of their polishes, and I was intrigued, and then I went and made a purchase, and I've been very happy with the quality of them. So definitely check them out if you haven't. Really cool new brand. So yeah, this one's called Fortitude, and again, just beautiful iridescent flake topper. This one, I just, wow, when I saw this, okay, y'all will see what I mean in a second. Okay, let me stop gushing before I've even shown you why. So here we go, over white and black. Okay, so a couple things. First, I just want to start by talking about the white side. Remember what I mentioned when I started with Fantasia over here, and I said that, you know, it's amazing that you can see not only the colors, but also that these are in fact flakes. We're starting to move away from that with Fortitude. And it's nothing against Fortitude, but I'm just saying this is a polish that I don't wear as a topper over like lighter colors. But over something like black, yeah, that is it. I mean, this just looks absolutely stunning. It's just the rich orangeness of it, and I'm kind of speechless right now because of how much I love this particular topper. So with it being so orange leaning, I think that one of the best ways to use this topper is over a similar color that can help to bring out that orange vibe that's already there. So the cream that I'm showing you all first is also from Perky Polish. This was their November 2025 gift with purchase. It's a really nice brick red, like it's got almost, I wouldn't say it's like a true blue base red, but it's like that, but with just a little bit orange leaning. And so here is how this combination looks with Fortitude over that red. So a big part of why I personally love iridescent flake toppers is for times where I want there to be something on my nails beyond just a cream. Like I want something, but I don't necessarily want it to be glitter, but I do want something. But then I also don't want it to give me a whole lot of physical texture. I want some kind of visual texture that is sort of there, but also sort of can fade into the background when I want it to. And this kind of combination is exactly that. It is like you still get to see the underlying red, because like this topper is not going to cover that up in full. Like that's not why I'm doing this. But what I am doing is saying, I've got this reddish orange cream, and now I've got this iridescent flake topper that also has like a reddish orange vibe to it. Let me put them together, and they just kind of bring out the best in each other. So that's absolutely one way that I would use this. Another way though, this polish works incredibly well over something like a dark purple. And the one I'm using today is Cracked Polish Mysteriously Me. And I just think that, you know, this is a good example of what I meant in the intro to this video when I said that I know many of us have come to know iridescent flake toppers because of their potential over black nail polishes. But then there are times where you just don't want to wear black all the time. And so what you can do is choose something that is dark but not black, because what will happen there is that you get to step away from black just a bit and go into more of the color that can give you a different end result when it's combined with this topper. So, okay, let me stop talking and just show y'all, like, you'll see what I mean. But I did want to explain like why I was gonna do this before. Oh my goodness, every time I do this, this is just, okay. This right here, okay, this is like, okay, I'm gonna paint a picture and I want y'all to follow me with this, because here's the vibe I'm setting. Imagine you are in Jurassic Park, right? Just hear me out. This is Jurassic Park. You are there. You stumbled out of the SUV. Oh no, you're running through the forest, and then you stumble across, what is that? A dinosaur egg. Bam, that's what this is right here. I mean, it's just like so glowy. It just blends seamlessly together. Now, as far as texture goes, another thing I love about Fortitude as a topper is that these flakes lay down really flat. I mean, if I show you this from an angle, it's like you don't really see anything sticking up. But what I feel that this still does benefit from having a glitter smoother over it, just to give you a completely even surface to work from before you put on something like top coat. But yeah, in short, if you are someone who's looking for a new indie brand to support and you also love iridescent flake toppers, definitely check out Perky Polish. I highly recommend this one. I have 4 more flake toppers to show you all in this video, and they all come from an indie brand called Spectrum Cosmetics. Before I get into this particular polish from them, I want to do a quick explanation of how I came across them initially and why I am preferring their iridescent flake toppers over, say, the unicorn skin ones from Holo Taco. So, you know, with Holo Taco, they have a line of what they call unicorn skins. Those are their iridescent flake toppers. Saw them and I thought, well, yeah, let me give these a try. They look great in the product photos. But then when I got them in the mail, they all looked like this. And this, for example, is Aurora unicorn skin. And now I'm just going to compare. For this, you're not looking at the, like, this is more of, I think, a blue. This is a green on the left. So we're not comparing that. We're just comparing the tint that's in there. And, you know, all of the unicorn skins that I got from Holo Taco had this kind of tint to them. And as I did more research, I came across like other people who had the same thing. And this just seemed to be how they are designed to be. And what I saw, and I want to show you this, if I put this one over white and black. So I'm doing this on just a separate swatch stick here. You know, the good thing here is that you don't really see the yellow that appears here, but for me, whenever I would go to wear the unicorn skin toppers, I just felt that the suspension base never really disappeared into the background for me in the way that I wanted it to. It always felt like I had this extra layer of like of liquid that was there that I just couldn't fully escape. And so if I compare that to this one from Spectrum Cosmetics, hopefully you'll see the difference here. So this one is called I Smell Children. Okay, y'all, that is honestly like the thing that led me to buy this when I came across this brand. They have a storefront on Etsy, and I came across their listings and I thought, well, let me give them a try. I've never heard of this brand before. Which one do I start with? I saw this name, I'm like, oh, yep, that's where I'm gonna go. And also, I love green, so I knew that I needed this in my collection. If you can't tell, I love green. I also just want to show you all my new snake bracelet that matches that too. So I am a lover of green. So let me put I Smell Children over white and black. And by the way, Spectrum Cosmetics has, since I bought this from them, they've updated their bottle shape, and the brush. So you'll see the other toppers that I have from them are the newer bottle style and brush style. Okay. All right. Let me move some stuff around here, zoom in. Okay, so this is I Smell Children. Now, just to go back to what we were talking about from the beginning with Fantasia, there's a reason why I said that I just wanted to point out how noteworthy it was to me that with Fantasia, I could see not only the color shifts, but also the shape of flakes. Once we went over to Fortitude, we started to lose that a bit. And now with that we're over here with I Smell Children, you really just don't get that impression unless you're really, really looking for it. However, once you go over to something like black, do you see how like it just like, oh, it just disappears there. And if I compare this to the Holo Taco unicorn skin, again, here we're not comparing for color, but just like the, I guess the quality of the texture, not the quality of the texture, but more so just how visible, if any, the suspension-based liquid is. I feel that the Spectrum Cosmetics iridescent toppers do a much better job of this, in my opinion. Another reason why I've chosen to support Spectrum Cosmetics for their iridescent flake toppers and other toppers and other polishes that I've bought from them too, is that they come at a better price point. So just before I sat down to film this, I wanted to check for the latest price updates. And so Holo Taco's unicorn skins, you get 12 milliliters for $14. And from Spectrum Cosmetics, you get 15 milliliters for $14. And it comes with the benefit of you know, supporting an indie brand. So that's just my personal preference there. Something else that I think is important for me to note as we're getting into this style of iridescent flake toppers is that if you know you're looking at this and you're just like, you know what, Olivia, I see that it's green, but it's not enough for me. These types of toppers are very buildable, and if you wanted to get a little bit more of that color from it, you could absolutely put a second coat of polish there. I will say that it comes at the drawback of giving your nail more physical texture to it because you're putting more flakes on top of it. So if you weren't already in the habit of using a glitter smoother before putting on top coat like I've been doing all along here, then if you're doing multiple coats of a flake topper like this, you definitely are going to want to use a glitter smoother so that you can really level everything out before putting on top coat. Okay, so now just like we did here with Fortitude, where I mentioned this Fortitude has like an orange color to it, so like an orange red, so I wanted to show you what it looks like over an orange red cream. I want to do the same thing here with I Smell Children. So the green cream polish that I'm using for this is Cracked Black Jade. And the reason I recommend this, well, let me show you and then I'll explain. Okay. I'm just gonna go back a little bit more. So the reason why I recommend this kind of approach is, let's say, once again, you are wanting to have some kind of manicure that gives you some sparkle, some shine, but you don't want to wear black. I think that when you do this kind of pairing, this is where using an iridescent flake topper, absolutely, it's just one of the best uses of this kind of finish, because you're taking the strength of the color of that iridescent flake topper that's leaning towards flashes of green, and then you're putting it over a like a green cream polish like this. This for me, it's just like, it feels like I'm a Ninja Turtle. It feels like, in the best way, y'all. It just feels like I am a Ninja Turtle who is like ready to walk down a runway at Paris Fashion Week. or something like that. And you know, it still works well over black, but I just, you know, as we were talking about this question of how can you get more use out of the polishes that you already own, I feel that a really good way to branch out is to say, well, I've got a green iridescent flake topper, let me put it over a green polish and see what happens. And now, okay, this one, I will say, prior to planning this video, I have never done this before, this combination, but I'm gonna be doing this moving forward. So this is a crack polish, Crimson Ecstasy. And this here, this actually connects back to my most recent video that I'll link in the description if you missed it, about using color theory with nail polish. And in that video, one of the things that I talked about was the concept of complementary colors on the color wheel, meaning that when you take two colors that are exactly opposite one another on the color wheel, they're considered complementary colors, and that can be an excellent color combination to consider when you're picking out nail polishes to pair together. And so I was curious to see how this might work here. So I decided to start with a red, like shimmery type polish. And then let me show you what happens when we put I Smell Children over this. Ah. Okay. And then I will explain why this is just everything. Okay. So, once again, I'm going to paint a picture, just like I did with the Jurassic Park thing. Okay. Let's suppose it's fall and you are not just going apple picking, but you are like me in that you really like to be on theme and you really want to, you know, make sure your nails are on point for the activity that you're doing. And you're not just going apple picking, but you want to feel like you're an apple. So what you do, you paint your nails red, but that's not enough for you because, you know, apples aren't just red. They have like dimension, they have depth, they have color variety. So then you put I Smell Children on top of that red polish. Now you're feeling like an apple. Like that is, oh my goodness. I cannot wait to like, for it to be fall again for a number of reasons. One of which is that it's freezing cold here in Chicago and I would like it to not be that, but also just I'm just kind of speechless right now because I was not expecting this combination to work so well. I thought, yeah, sure, red and green, yeah, they're complementary colors, so what? This totally works. And I think here, something that I always want to mention about working with toppers is the extent to which a certain topper is going to cover up the color that you put it on top of. And what I love about iridescent flake toppers, especially when you use them in just one coat like I've been doing here, is that you get the benefit of whatever that topper is bringing to the table, but it's not at the expense of you losing the color and the finish that you put it over. So I still get everything that I love about Crimson Ecstasy, but now I get I Smell Children on top of it as well. By the way, y'all, I love it when I wear this topper and I go out somewhere and people are like, oh, I love your nails. What is that? And sometimes I'm just creepy and awkward. So I'll be like, I smell children. They're like, you what? I'm like, oh, that's the name of the nail polish. So if you also want to have that experience, I definitely encourage you to take a look into this one. The next topper from Spectrum Cosmetics is Opal. And like I mentioned, this one has the newer bottle type and also the newer paddle brush, but it still is the 15 milliliter size. That's the same as I Smell Children. Part of why I wanted to show these iridescent flake toppers together like this in this video is to give you a better understanding of the color differences that there can be there in these type of toppers, and so that you have a better sense of when and why you might want to use them over others. So this one, okay, Opal is like if I said that I Smell Children was green base, this one is all the colors of the rainbow. So I'm gonna put this over white and black so y'all can see what I mean here. Oh, this is just like a party in a bottle. Oh my goodness. Every time I wear this one, I just fall in love with it all over again. And it's stunning. Really great quality here. Once again, white isn't really my recommendation for this type of topper, but over something like black, I think because this one has just like every color in it, wearing it over black is a fantastic choice. Like if you're going to a party or something, if you are just indecisive about what kind of color you want to wear and you want a really good go-to combination that you know is going to work, Opal over black, I highly recommend it. With that being said though, as I was preparing for this video, I wanted to see just how far I could push it when it comes to showing you how this how these types of toppers can work well over lighter bases that aren't white, because you know what we're seeing here is that white is just a little bit too light. Like you get a little bit of color, but at this point it's like, why even put it over white? Like what are you even doing? But then if you go too far into the darker side of polishes, then it's like, well, then you might as well be using black potentially. So what I wanted to do here with this next swatch is to show you how Opal can look over this kind of, say, mid-range type color, where we're not too dark like we did over here with Black Jade, but we're also not super white or pastel. And this color that I'm using is from Blank Beauty. It's called Polka Dot Blue. And I tested out a few different blues and I wanted to show you like the best version of this. So here's how this looks. Now this is where I think just like when I was talking about, oh, which one was I talking about, where I was talking about like layering, I think, yeah, back when I was mentioning over the jelly sandwiches and everything, when you are putting an iridescent flake topper like Opal over another polish, this is where you do want to be very mindful of not putting too much of that topper on at once. Now, if it's the case where this isn't giving you enough visual payoff, then you can absolutely like build this up. But the way that you're going to want to do that is to do one thin coat of the topper first, let it completely dry, then go back in for another coat of the topper and let that dry. The reason I recommend doing it this way as opposed to just being like, oh, let me just put a bunch of the polish on there and smooth it out, it'll be good, is that you don't want your polish to end up looking gloopy, and this kind of finish is one that can have the tendency to very easily become gloopy, not just in how it feels, but also in how it looks if you aren't cautious with it. So that's why I told myself, spread it out, just do the one coat. Now, the reason why I recommend Opal over something like Polka Dot Blue here is that you're not getting all the full rainbow vibe like you are over black, but you are still getting this like really nice and lovely, delicate shine, this really great color shiftiness from this, but without you having to really see the presence of flakes. If you look closely enough, you can see obviously that there are flakes, but you're really just getting color shiftiness, and I think this is an excellent combination together. Okay, I also wanted to, I thought, let me try something else that completely different that I have not done yet, because I'm curious to see how this is going to work. So I thought, what would happen if I put an iridescent flake topper over a multi-chrome? Because I don't know, science. Let's try it out. What I've swatched out here is I started with black, And then over that, I put 1 coat of Alchemy Lacquer's Titan. Whenever I wear multi-chromes, I always do just like 1 coat of the multi-chrome over black, because I'm someone who prefers to have 0 visible nail line, and also because with multi-chromes, in my experience, it tends to take at least 2, if not 3 coats to build up to full opacity, and sometimes not even that. And also, if I do 1 coat of the multi-chrome over black, I basically get the same end result that I would if I built it up on its own, and I get to save more of my multi-chrome polish to use over time. So here we go with this one. Once again, I'm applying this in a way that is just being very like delicate with it, giving, you know, full coverage here, but not building it up too much. And this is what you've got here. So with multi-chromes by themselves, they are already very color shifty. So that's why I thought it would be a good idea to put like a color shifty topper on top of that. And I'm really surprised and happy with how this turned out. You know, we've been talking about the extent to which you can or cannot see the size and shape of flakes, you know, when you use it as a topper. And I don't see that at all here. Like I see 0 flakes as I'm looking at this and moving it around. What I do see is just these little pops of color that are around. Like I see, oh, there's some purple, there's some yellow, there's some green there. That's really all that I'm seeing. So my advice here is, if you have a bunch of multi-chromes in your collection and maybe you never wear them, or you're kind of bored with them, right? But then you also have in your collection some Iridescent Flake toppers, and you've been trying to figure out how to use them. Y'all, multi-chrome plus Iridescent Flake toppers equals this. I seriously never would have tried it before now myself, but I think it works really well, and I can't wait to see how this looks in some other lighting. The next topper from Spectrum Cosmetics is Firefly from Hell. And wow, I mean, like the name really gives the vibe that we've got going on here. This one, as you can see, is a lot on the warmer side. We've got like orange, some red. I think I see some hints of maybe some purple in there to balance things out. But yeah, this is great. I really like it for times when I do want to have like an orange pop of color on my nails. So let's show how it looks over white and black. And I think with this one, this is a good example of where I can show you what I mean when I talk about flake topper density. So if we see like how many flakes we have in Firefly from Hell, but then go back to like the size and density of what's in Fortitude over here, you see both of these are in that same kind of color family, but it's very different in terms of the size and density of the flakes. So just something to point out here. Also, that little piece of black, I think I keep getting stray pieces of like smudge on here from black, so disregard that. But yeah, I would not recommend this over white, but over black, I think it looks very, very just striking. What I wanted to do first to show you this over other colors, I'm starting with Holo Taco's Devil's Advocate, which if you're unfamiliar with this one, it is almost black, but not. So if I put this next to black on the right and Devil's Advocate on the left, you can see the difference here, but when it's just on its own, it definitely can have that vibe of being so dark that it's almost black. And why I wanted to show you Firefly from Hell over something like Devil's Advocate would be for times where you are wanting to do this over a darker color, but in a way that allows you to still like really dive into some of the warmth that's coming through from Firefly from Hell. So if you see how this looks over Devil's Advocate, yeah, this is just I was about to say it's a match made in heaven. Okay, let me just recap that, because that's going to be a sentence. Okay, Firefly from Hell plus Devil's Advocate is a match made in heaven. I'm just saying. So, but if you take a look here and see just the very subtle difference there, and if it's not showing up in this lighting, and I'm almost certain that it will when I video this in some other lighting, I just really like using Firefly from Hell with Devil's Advocate, because I definitely get the orange glow that comes from this as a topper, but I think it putting this over a dark red polish as opposed to black helps to amplify the orange color that's within this topper even more. So I really recommend this combination. I also wanted to show this over an orange cream polish like you've got here. Now this is something that is not, it's not like the deepest orange cream that you might find, but it's also not like orange pastel, just kind of mid-range. And for the same reason that I mentioned when I was over here talking about my thought process behind polka dot blue. So let me show y'all how Firefly from Hell looks over orange. Okay, now y'all know how I can be with my descriptions and stuff, right? So this is, what if you wanted your nails to look like orange juice? You know, like, or like you wanted your nails to look like an orange, but also orange juice, because I feel like the cream polish is like for sure the orange fruit, but then when you do the color shifting that comes with Firefly from Hell, it looks like orange juice, at least to me. But hopefully you can see what I mean when I say that this pairing just works very well together. And yeah, you are able to see the, like, that these are flakes. Like there's a really big flake over on the right side here, for example, but in a way that doesn't take away from the fact that you can still see the orange underneath. Just another example of how you can play with these iridescent flake toppers, I think. Step outside of your comfort zone, see what you can do with them. So we've got one more for this video. Final topper that I want to show y'all today is Spectrum Cosmetics Amok. This one has like hints of purple, some pink, a little bit of like teal at certain angles. I love it. So let me put this over black and white. There we go. Yeah, this one, like, I've worn this one before when I kind of want to go for the vibe of like, you know, in the Avatar movies, how they have the world of Pandora and it just glows like this purple, blue, like teal. That is what this is right here. Like my husband and I saw the new Avatar movie the other week, and the entire time they kept going down to Pandora, or not, they were already in Pandora, but the entire time they kept going into, like, you know, the rainforest scenes where everything is glowing. I was like, it's Amok, because it really does look like that. I actually want to start with this one over here next to let this set for a bit, because I'm going to do something different with it. This one is Essie's Nailed It, and it's like a, oh, how do I describe this color? Like a dark magenta kind of cream polish, and I think that it pairs very well with Amok because of those hints of like purple that I mentioned in here. Now, just to jump ahead and tell you what I'm going to do with this, you know how where we started with Fantasia and the other Cirque polishes, how we did the jelly sandwiches, we're actually going to do the same thing here with this as well. Even though we didn't start with a jelly polish underneath this, we can do the exact same thing because I've got a sort of matching color that is a jelly, but I want to give this just a few moments to sit. So while that is drying, I'm going to jump over to this next one that definitely in this lighting, this looks black, but I promise it's not. It is very dark blue from Color Club. Nighttime is the right time. And with this, you know, it's the exact same reasoning that I mentioned when we were talking about Devil's Advocate with Holo Taco, and why it can be, oh, that just looks gorgeous, and why it can just be a very interesting visual choice to make when you are trying to decide what color to put an iridescent flake topper over. You know, black, nothing wrong with that. It looks great, but I swear it just, like, something about it, this just sparkles more. Like, at least from my eye right here, I'm seeing going down the middle of this, like right at the top, I'm getting so much more of the teal color payoff from this color combination than I am over here when it's over black. So like, for example, me knowing that I love teal and that there are some color notes of teal in Amok, I can be like, well, let me put this over a dark blue polish and that will hopefully amplify the teal that's in there. Whereas over here, over Nailed It, I'm getting more of the, like, the pink and purple tones that are there. So now that this is dried a bit, I'm going to my dark magenta jelly from Emily Damali. This is Sheer Tint Mulberry. You can see it's like a really good color match here, especially when, you know, you're only using a coat of this as a jelly polish. But what I want to show you here is how you can use jellies even if you didn't start with it over a jelly, and, you know, why might you want to do this. I think this looks good as it is, of course, but if you wanted to, like, seal it up a bit and maybe have the flakes and the topperness of it all kind of recede a bit into the background, that can be where you might want to consider doing this as a jelly sandwich. Once again, my advice applies to where you are wanting to be very intentional about how you apply your jelly sandwich not topper, I don't want to say top coat, but like the uppermost coat of polish here. Now that to me is that just did everything there. And, you know, part of why I chose to use Nailed It for this video is that honestly, this is a polish that I don't really wear often. It just, like, it sits in this range of color where it's not dark enough for me to really want to gravitate towards it. It's not bright enough as well. It's kind of in the middle there, right? But if I wanted to use this in a way where I get some extra color and just, you know, sparkle with it, I feel that using it in a jelly sandwich is a fantastic way to go. So I really encourage you, you know, as we're wrapping this up, to not just think about how you can use iridescent flake toppers as toppers, but if you've been looking for additional ways to get some good use out of your jelly polishes, you know, make a jelly sandwich. Yum, yum, yum. Amok, amok, amok. So yeah, those are my favorite iridescent flake toppers. I've got to say, I always enjoy the process of planning out these videos because it's a combination of me like deciding to include some layering combinations that are tried and true for me, that I'm like, I love this particular combination, so I definitely want to share that with you all. But then I also enjoy getting outside of my comfort zone a bit and challenging myself to see, well, how can I go beyond what I always do with this particular topper, and what's a different way that would look pretty good that I haven't tried yet. And there can be some hits or misses, but it's a lot of fun. It really helps me to discover new ways to use these polishes. And I hope that's what you all have been getting out of this as well. That if you also have some of these, if not just these, but if you have any kind of iridescent flake toppers in your collection, I hope you've been inspired to try out some new things with them. So yeah, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm planning to do another video on my favorite flake toppers that are like single color, another video on my favorite flake toppers that are multicolor, and then I'm also going to do some videos on my favorite magnetic toppers because y'all know I love magnetics as well. So if you haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so that you don't miss out. Thank you all so much as always for being here, for being part of this channel and this community, and I wish you all the best with exploring your flake toppers. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.